Hello and welcome back to my channel. This is Andy in Singapore. For today's video, we are going to do a full review of the CasiOak full metal version, and this is a very new color combination. I believe it was launched a few months back, and I'm so lucky to have this piece in for review. This watch is on loan from our boutique, and I really gotta take some time to thank my good friend Eric at our boutique for so kindly loaning me all these watches for my videos. So the full metal CasiOak series, they were launched sometime last year. So earlier this year, they had some new color combinations, and this is the latest one, which features yellow gold IP plating, and it's got this all blackout kind of dial configuration. Reference number for the watch is GM-B2100GD. So obviously GD would stand for the gold IP coating. The module number for the watch is 5691. I don't think there is anything special in this module apart from the fact that it is housed into a screw-in case bag or screw-down case bag, as opposed to the one found in my Bluetooth CasiOak, which does not have this screw-in case bag. So just to bring in the watch in question for a quick comparison, and throughout this video I think I would from time to time just bring in the plastic version of the GM-B2100 for some quick comparison. So on hand, these watches, they are almost the same in terms of layout, in terms of module and all that, but of course both watches are very different because the construction itself is different. With the lens zoom in very slightly, let's have a closer look at the GM-B2100, also known as the full metal CasiOak. And this watch is more or less the same as the standard resin type of CasiOak 2100 models, except that this one here has got a full metal casing, as well as some slight differences in terms of dimensions. I think this is most likely due to the fact that it's got this screw down case back now, so it obviously pops out quite a bit, right? Protrudes quite a bit, as opposed to the resin version of the 2100 models. The full metal CasiOak has a case size of 44.5 millimeters, and this is actually smaller than the resin version of the CasiOaks. I believe this is due to the fact that the bumpers here, they don't bulge out so much. Alright, so let me just bring in my own plastic version of the CasiOak for a quick comparison. You can see that the plastic bumpers here on my resin version here protrudes more, right? So over here, the protrusion is less. So the case here looks slightly more sleek, alright? And I think overall it looks really good on this new case design. The overall thickness on the metal CasiOak is also slightly thicker, comes in now at 13 millimeters, and of course it is caused by this protruding case back over here, which is a screw down case back. Again, let me just bring in my plastic version for a quick comparison. So this one here is a screw down or screw in case back held by 4 screws here. Doesn't protrude as much as the full metal casing screw down version. Even the crystal sizes here are slightly different. So on the metal version of the CasiOak, we've got a slightly smaller crystal size of 32.5 millimeters, whereas on the plastic version, this one here comes in at about 33.5 millimeters. And of course, on the full metal CasiOak, there's still no sapphire crystal. We are looking at a mineral crystal, which of course is a bummer for most people who think that in this price category, there should at least be a sapphire crystal. At the time of this review, this JDM model here goes for around $680. You can definitely get this one from our boutique. Now let's move on and talk a little bit on the case design and the overall build quality of the GM-B2100. So this one here, it really feels very different. The moment I unbox this watch, I feel that this is a different animal altogether when compared to the other G-Shock watches. Alright, so obviously this one here feels much heavier. Alright, a full metal bracelet version comes in at around 165 grams. With the bracelet unsized, feels very solid, very hefty on the wrist, and even when you hold it, alright, you can really feel that there's a big difference when it comes to the feel and the quality of this watch. The case and bracelet here is done in a really good mix of brush and polished surface. I really like this consistency in terms of applying the brush and polish finishes. They've left the surfaces or the areas that are exposed in front here to be done in a brush finish, and many parts of the watch in terms of the chamfers as well as the sides here left polished, and I think this is a really good mix. Makes the watch looks really good, doesn't feel cheap. We've got a full solid bracelet here. Alright, so we don't have a 5-piece or 3-piece bracelet. Each link is stamped as a 1-piece, but it is well made. We've got a full solid clasp here, and even the buckle here is a really nicely made buckle here with 2 trigger buttons as well as 4 micro adjust dots here. Right, so I think, in terms of quality and all that, I think this is a really good upgrade. I'm also liking this case back here, which is a DLC coated case back, and it is a screw down case back. Really nice text prints and engraving going on here on the case back. It's got all the information printed on, and I think, again, this feels like a more premium type of G-Shock. In terms of dial design here, I think this is more or less a blackout look on the dial here. We've got negative LED display, and I think it fits the overall theme very well. Nice splashes of gold accents on the dial in terms of prints and bordering of the lines. We've got the logo, G-Shock logo here, done embossed in gold, as well as the gold text going on here in terms of display, in terms of functions, and we've got really nice gold accents here at the end of the hour markers. In terms of functions and operations, this is exactly the same as the Bluetooth CasiOak. Now the buttons here, I believe they are done also in sort of a plated metal. Alright, they protrude slightly more than the resin version. Now here you can see that for the resin version, the plastic version, the buttons are slightly more recessed. Alright, but in terms of operation, in terms of feel, there is no problem at all. So when I depress here to change out the functions and mode, alright, you can see that it's very crisp. And now let's have a look at how the full metal CasiOak synchronizes to my iPhone app. So assuming I've downloaded the Casio iPhone app and I've also registered my watch purchase, you can see over here I've sort of registered the other Bluetooth G-Shocks that I've got. So all I need to do now is to go into the menu, and then I depress the button for connectivity. Alright, and you'll see that the app will start to synchronize and connect the watch to my app. Alright, you can see that it takes a while, and upon connection you can actually read off a lot of information here on the watch. Things such as battery power left, and also alarms and timer and world time functions and all that. So I think this is a really cool feature for those who want to have Bluetooth connectivity on their G-Shocks. Let's zoom out for a wrist shot of the full metal CasiOak GM-B2100. So you can see that on my wrist, 17 centimeters, this one here fits very well. Despite the fact that it is a 44.5 millimeters case size, it doesn't feel overly big. No lug gaps to speak of. And let's come back to a shot where we look at these watches side by side once again. Okay, so between these two watches, I think they are very different watches, totally different feel when I'm wearing these two watches. Alright, one is definitely very heavy, hefty watch here. Feels a little bit more premium, and I think I wouldn't want to wear this one if I'm going to go on an adventure or I'm going to work on my tools and all that. But this one here feels more like a regular G-Shock watch. Alright, looks like it's going to withstand all the abuse that you can give to the watch. So both watches, they are very different. So in summary, I think the GM-B2100 full metal CasiOak, it definitely caters to the die-hard Casio fans out there. For me, I'm still waiting for the titanium versions of the metal CasiOaks to be released, because I think, for a full metal watch here, it's definitely a good idea to have it done in a titanium case, titanium bracelet, for weight reduction purposes. Okay, so then I think that watch will be a good daily wearer, because at the moment I do think that this watch is slightly on the heavier side of things. So there you have it. That was my review of the full metal CasiOak GM-B2100. This is one of the latest color combinations. If you like this watch, if you like the video, please remember to click the like and subscribe buttons. I'll see you next week for more watch reviews together with George and Rolly Polly. See you, bye bye.